All right, cool. We're good to go.
Yeah.
We did all the yum voices.
Check.
I
Are we
work
on?
out
We good?
and listen to myself. Right, Mike?
Yes. I got my wine.
So, yeah, shout out to you working out in the gym right now, guys.
really
Really push it.
Yeah.
Because it's October 3rd, 2019.
Yeah.
Joined by Party Mike
Whoop, whoop.
and Nguyen. Did you
Hey.
have a name? Did you have like a nickname? Were you always just Win?
I was just winning.
Okay.
That's a cool name, though. Like, win? That's better than lose. I mean, what if you got named Lose? That'd suck.
That's his.
Best joke I've heard in a million years. I've never heard that joke before.
Really?
Mike,
Never?
What if
Okay,
your
yeah.
wife-
Mike, check.
I'm very gullible.
What if your wife's name was Loss?
That'd be awesome.
Win-loss. And you can have a ratio.
I told Shannon I'm changing my last name to Cannon so when we get married.
Wow.
Shannon
That's awesome.
Like Julia Gulia.
You win.
Wow. Oh, it's going to be punny today.
Oh, I didn't even mean to, man. Accidental genius. I did not.
What are you drinking, Greg? What's that, kombucha? What is that?
It's kombucha. It's
Oh, wow, good
ginger
guess.
lemon.
Hmm.
You think when Wynn's wife hooks up with him, she's like, all I do is win.
Oh,
and
my
win
God.
No matter what.
Probably.
And Wynn's never heard that joke
No.
before.
I think I post that joke all the time
wow.
on my social media stuff. So
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'm just going to keep drinking this Pinot Grigio because it's delicious.
Dude, I've never seen you drink wine before.
I know, right? Carbs.
Legit.
Carbs, zero-ish.
What?
Well,
There's sugar in there.
no, but actually, Pinot Grigio from Yellowtail, it's supposed to be super low carb. A traditional glass, a 5-ounce serving is 3 grams, but their website literally says it's 0.7 grams for 5-ounce serving.
Not
So
bad.
this whole thing is like 3 grams of carbs. So
Well, then, yeah.
basically, it's
negligible.
saying pound it. Basically, is what they're saying. Drink this whole bottle, which I will. So
Well, there you go.
And-
When do you want something to drink? You okay?
I'm okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
there's a beverage on the table over there.
You have like my backwashed water from working at my computer
Can I
earlier.
have some?
Ugh.
I did some dip earlier.
Sick.
I can't wait to get your germs.
Nasty.
Yep. So we actually have since when Party Mike's on, we have a schedule. What's that
Our
called?
topics.
Topics that we're going to talk about.
I asked you the topic. You said the moon, Mars, moon, bless you, moon bases,
Thank you.
and
Longevity.
life longevity. So all of which I'm versed in. But I spent this morning actually kind of dipping into the moon and the moon bases and Mars stuff. Kind of
I
deal.
too like to dip into the moon.
Dipped into the moon. See, dipped into it and. Got lots of information. Learned lots of things about the moon, which I had no idea about, which is pretty cool. For it has they think it has a molten core. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, they think it has an actual liquid, hot metal magma core, which is
Can't they measure that?
they can.
I mean, you got surface temperature. Wouldn't you be able to get like further in?
They do. In fact, on Mars, they're using one of the most recent probes, which has a seismometer on the thing, which is used to detect Marsquakes, and they think Mars has a liquid core as well. But we've not put that same device on the moon yet, kind of deal. But there's a lot of fascinating stuff going on with the moon, kind of deal, like with research and companies and stuff. Mm-hmm. So NASA has been really, obviously, super focused on Mars and sending rovers and landers there and things like that, and Curiosity ran for 60 times its planned lifespan. It's only supposed to run for 90 days. That thing ran for 15 years, which is insane.
That's slightly better than the Indian thing they just landed on the South Pole of the moon.
They did. And
That crashed, by the way.
It wasn't a soft landing, apparently. It touched down.
It was meant to run for like a few days because it was going to be in the full dark side of the moon,
Yeah.
South Pole. And
Wow.
I was watching it live at work, and they showed it, and then it was like, we don't really know. And the guy's like, the big like ambassador guy, whoever is like, stay brave, guys. You guys did great. And then he left. He bounced out.
He's like looking for a job right off
You
the
kind of
bat.
feel bad for him. You're like, man, all these
Poor
people
guy.
worked for months and years on this.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. There's a lot more people that have access to the ability to send out probes and landers to the moon and to Mars because of all the lowering of cost because of SpaceX and and all the stuff Elon's doing. So that's really cool. So there's a lot more players designing stuff to go to the moon and to go to Mars and things like that. And,
Yep.
they were supposed to have 4 different, and I don't know the status, 4 different landers, rovers on the moon in 2019, but I don't know if that actually happened or that was the plan.
Right.
All the videos I watched are like late 2018, so. But they're really working on the technology to build a moon base. NASA said that they want to be they want a sustainable community on the moon by the early 2030s is the plan. And there's several ways that they are going to go about doing that. And one of the ways is to have NASA itself is redesigning a couple different SLS space launch systems to shoot up the stuff, the rockets kind of deal. Right. I'm not quite sure if they're supposed to be reusable. I haven't looked into them that much. I don't know if they're trying to do the same thing as Elon Musk is with the reusability piece, which they may or may not. I don't know. But they're going to try to do that, try to get stuff up to the moon and build moon bases. Right. So that's kind of cool. And how are they going to do that? So this is what I watched this morning. They are pretty sure, they're not 100%, they're pretty sure, like 99%, that there's a lot of water on the moon, which is like a what kind of thing that no one ever thought that. To see, like what the fuck? So yeah, there's a lot of water on the moon, they think, and they've actually identified the stuff. So they have several ways to go about doing this. So the first one is a reconnaissance. Basically, send out a lot of different smaller probes across different areas towards the poles to see the validity of if there's water there or not. Because if there's water there, that's like a game changer. Because that's like basically all the stuff that you really need to do. A lot of the things they need to do: create food. And they can use it to break it apart to create rocket fuel, hydrogen and oxygen. Split them apart, water.
And they're saying potentially, probably there's helium-3 up there too.
H3, yeah, which would
so
be...
they can do some fusion stuff once we get that figured out.
The H3 would be an abundance there, which is just a big deal because that's a really great power source. So that's cool. So there's water, and then the stuff that's actually on the moon is called regolith. And if you can think of like maybe taking a number 2 pencil, like a graphite pencil, and just grinding that down to dust, that's kind of the material that's on the surface of the moon. It sticks to everything. It's really hard to deal with as far as, like, you wouldn't think that moon dust would be an issue, but it is.
I'm sure.
It freaking is. The Apollo guys found that out the hard way.
So their filtration system would have to be nuts.
Absolutely, because it's super fine dust.
It's super fine. Like, do you think like a normal HEPA filter would pick that up? That's what I was wondering.
I don't even know.
But it's got to be next level.
They have a room here at NASA. It's called, I forgot what it was called. They had a robot alligator as the logo for it. It's a room that's basically got moon dust. And you gear up, and not like in a hazmat, not super hazmat suit, but a full suit, and you wear a respirator, and you go in there, and it's like this 20 by 20 foot room with all the dust in it, and they have a robot, they have a machine there. They're trying to build. I took a picture of it to show you guys here. They're designing machinery to dig and excavate stuff on the moon. So I'm showing Nguyen a picture of this machine and Greg here. It's basically a four-wheel device, and it's got 4 drums on it, and they spin one direction, and they collect the regolith, and then when they reverse, they dump it into a bin. So they collect this stuff. So that's the foundation material. So that's part 1 of getting the stuff. The other part would be collecting the water in situation, and plugging all it into a 3D printer. That's the next step. 3D printing the structures on the moon. That's realistically the way that they're trying to do that thing. So print them up.
Yeah, they do that in with the sand in the Middle East.
Do they?
They have 3D printers that'll take the sand that's there, and they will turn it into whatever material, and then they'll 3D print things.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's what they're talking about, building stuff on site. They actually had a contest NASA did with A1. That's the name is not A1 Space Systems and another company, and they had these 2 different competing teams build a 1/3 scale model. By 1/3, it was still like 25 feet tall. Like, they had to print this thing out in 2 days, and they printed this thing up as kind of like an egg structure that kind of came up and tapered to the top and came to a point. and they printed the thing up in 2 days, and they won $500,000 for making this thing.
Nice.
Wow.
So a lot of in fact, most of the stuff that's really exciting that's going on is not government driven. It's private enterprise, private companies, and things like that.
And I don't know, I'm trying to get too political, but I think a lot of that stuff, the technology was from the government, and they'll take a lot of those technologies and then implement them as private in their private companies.
Yeah, I can see it going both ways. Private learns from the government learns from private.
Right.
And it's really a win-win for everybody kind of deal, and everybody wins. So I did watch a couple YouTube videos on what will jumpstart like space industry, like what's going to get companies behind spending the money that they needed to do that, and it's
to the moon,
literally. And it's just once the payload costs can continue to go down with basically Elon Musk leading the charge with the SpaceX program, you get more and more stuff in space, and you start building the stuff, and it's just going to happen. It takes time, obviously. Like they have a 10-year window for living on the moon, but it's in the process. It's technically feasible to do. There's no new technologies that need to be invented. We just need to quit fighting each other over dumb shit and focus as a species on getting off this blue rock.
I'm calling it right now. It's the IMC, International Moon Colony.
Ooh.
Yep.
Nice.
It's going to be that.
Nice name.
Greg Stradamus.
Greg Stradamus. Oh my God.
Nice.
So I will partner that with, they think the first name for the first whatever colony on Mars is going to be Opportunity, to name it after the little rover that could kind of deal. Mm-hmm. And God, this kind of, I didn't actually cry, but I kind of got emotional. The last thing that either it said or somebody, I think actually the rover said this before it finally went offline. It said the batteries are getting low. My batteries are getting low, and it's getting dark outside. And that was like it. And like this little machine that did 60 times its life cycle just died. And it was, people like, it was like, oh, what? I watched NASA. I watched a video today of NASA, the control center, and all the people that had a thing to do with Opportunity when they finally pulled the plug on it. And it was pretty emotional for all those people.
I'm sure. I mean, like all that hard work and study and watching this thing day in and day out is just...
Tell them to wait 40 years when we turn it back on. When we have people there.
We have some
going, little
some
buddy.
stranded Martian that needs to take parts off it to get back to Earth.
Here's the new batteries, bud.
They made a movie off that.
40 years, I think it's going to be less than that.
Oh, yeah. They're already working on the Mars 2020 lander.
It's all the cost and how we're gonna...
Do you want
people on Mars?
Do you want to see a concept for a people moving vehicle on Mars?
You think 20 years?
Check this thing out. The 6-wheel device. These two guys built...
It's a space warthog
rover. It's literally like think Halo.
That thing on,
think Halo. They totally made this thing all by itself.
I thought I saw the thing on whatchamacallit, that movie with
The Martian.
No, Bruce Willis and the asteroid that's gonna hit Earth.
Is that Armageddon?
Armageddon.
Deep Impact. I forget which one.
Armageddon.
Oh my God, I forget which one.
Space movies. Do you guys see that Astra?
I have not seen that movie yet, so no spoilers.
It sucked.
Whatever, Murph.
I hated it so much.
If it's not Interstellar, he doesn't
I
like
didn't see it.
Well, no. Interstellar is a masterpiece, obviously.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've had a podcast.
Very excited.
We have not done a podcast, not one, I don't think ever, without a reference to
Interstellar.
Yeah.
So, dude, Ad Astra, I went to the IMAX to see it.
Yeah.
And I was super stoked.
Yeah.
I got a little space pin because I was like an early IMAX guy.
I don't even know what it's about. I have no idea. I just know it's space stuff.
It looked kind of iffy.
It
to be honest. Yeah, really.
It's not. It's the least sci-fi space movie I've ever seen.
So don't get my hopes up.
There's like weird character development where it doesn't matter. There's decisions where you're like, what? And then there's things that happen that you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And then at the end, I remember walking out with my buddy that I saw it with, and I was just like, that kind of sucked. And he's like, yeah.
So don't pay for it on Amazon then, basically.
Nope. No.
Nope, okay. I'm not watching it.
Speaking of, I need to get a movie to take out of here to watch. Can we stop doing that for my review for next time?
I need to get you hooked up on Gregflix because I want digital. I don't have physical media.
What?
Yeah, I'm on all digital.
What did you do with the old media?
I ripped them into Gregflix, man. Just had to allocate 7 terabytes.
Oh my God, Gregflix.
Good to go.
I love it. Wow. Good for you. It's cool.
I'm going to have to get on Gregflix too.
Yeah, because you see that little tower right
Yeah,
there?
I do.
There's a computer tower with 5 drives, 1 DVD, and 4 Blu-rays, and they were ripping all at once.
Is there a monthly subscription fee?
To a RAID 0 striped set of drives that pushing nonstop.
That's
I can get you set up.
yeah.
Moon
free.
dust.
Yeah.
Nice.
You have to pay him in moon dust.
Yeah.
Most expensive dust ever. Moon dust. I got some moon dust. I'll find you some moon dust. So
It's like the 70s all over again. So much moon dust.
Studio Greg.
that's moon bases. That's what I got from moon bases kind of deal. And yeah,
How far off are we on fusion with H3 then?
I don't think it's a matter of the fuel because they have several. They can
Well,
do
fusion
do
in general.
deuterium, the fusion in general. The running joke in the fusion world is it's just 20 years away.
Always.
It's always 20. It was 20 years away in 1950. It was 20 years away in 70. It was 20 years away in 1990.
As long as when they're done, they call it Mr. Fusion, I'm good to go.
That'd be awesome. Throw a couple beer cans that had a lettuce in there, get in your flying car, and travel
like,
through time.
What are you doing, Doc?
Mr. Fusion.
I need fuel.
Mr. Fusion. God, what a great thought. It was Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
That was at the end of 1 though, right? When he had
Yes.
yeah, right.
Yes. Yes.
And that must have been what 1987 was that 88 when that came
I
out.
think it was
like
late
that.
80s, yeah.
So that, again, like I said, 1990, just 20 years off, and then from 1987 they went 20. It was 1995. What year was then when they went to the future? It was 2015, I think, because
'cause we celebrated
It was
that
1 year off
recently.
from the Cubs win, so it was 20 years prior. So it was 1985.
Yep.
1985, and then
Yeah.
it was okay. Well, 1990, like I said, 20 years. It's always 20 years off in the future, so they're working on it. It's happening.
Fusion would be awesome.
Fusion is
like
a game changer. Speaking of
Rehydrate a pizza.
fusion and energy, I've this is off topic. This wasn't the topic we talked about, but so Nikola Tesla, like one of my favorite kind of wacky guys back in the day, which kicked Edison's ass across the board for all kinds of crazy cool things.
True story.
True story. In
Oh, man.
Milford,
I'm Team AC.
Texas. I don't know if
There's
you
a movie,
guys know
Tesla
what
movie.
his Wardenclyffe Tower was. It was a tower that he built to send electricity wirelessly to wherever he wanted to send it. Okay? This is revolutionary. And it never got off the ground because he ran out of funding and they shut the place down. And then he died, and then the FBI took all of his research and just kind of chomped it up and probably created a lot of Black Ops projects with that, but we don't know. So I was just happened to be trolling through YouTube and I was looking at Tesla stuff. And in Milford, Texas, there was a company built a modern day version, no shit, of the Nikola Tesla Wardenclyffe Tower. It's actually a thing.
Does it
And
work?
everybody's dead there
It's
now.
a thing. So there's a company, and this was like super like what the hell is this kind of stuff, and it was really weird. And I watched the movie, the local news crew went out there and they interviewed the people. This is legit. There's a company. It's called Visiv. You can Google it. It's out there. It's headed by two or three former big dog full bird colonels from the Air Force that used to run the ICBM projects. They used to run all kinds of Black Ops stuff with the military. There's a couple PhD scientists on there, and it's got a lot of money behind it. And this legit is, it's legit. They are literally trying to send electricity wirelessly from A to B, and they're working on it through a process. It's called a Xenic wave. And what does that mean?
Yeah, what spectrum is that?
What
Is that
does that
just
mean?
RF crap?
I knew that I was going to have to talk
Always.
about this. Let me just read this little quick excerpt about
You're
what
going to
this
have
means.
loss
It says,
no matter what.
the endeavor relies heavily on what are called Xenic surface waves. These waves, named for Jonathan Xenic, a 20th century physicist and electrical engineer, are electromagnetic waves that harness Earth's surface as a sort of wave guide or conduit for electricity and communication signals, so powerful that they envelop the entire planet without the need for wires. So what does that mean if they make this work? Which there's a lot of money and a lot of smarts behind this. Okay, so originally
You can't direct it, though.
well, that's what they're saying.
You're
There's a,
directed
there's
through
a
people's
receiver
bodies.
that looks it's a silver looking aluminum shaped disc about 2.5-3 feet in circumference. It's like a oval kind of thing, and you put it on a tower next to wherever you want to receive the electricity, and it sends it from A to B essentially through these waves kind of deal.
Yeah, but those are like RF waves or electro waves.
They're xenic waves. The science behind it is murky at best. Okay,
right. But basically, you're doing microwaves. You're doing some spectrum in
something that uses the inherent properties of the Earth to move electricity. And the concept behind that is, it doesn't create free energy. You still have to generate the electricity, which I didn't realize back. At first, I thought Nikola Tesla found a way to suck energy out of the planet, number one, and then number two, kick it anywhere you want it to do. I didn't realize that wasn't how it was. You still have to generate the electricity. So that's a big deal. But the concept is, if you can generate electricity, let's say you have a giant solar array in the middle of a freaking desert in the Sahara. Period. There's nothing around it. Sure. You can take that electricity in concept with this theory and zap it to a receiver in space, a space receiver, and that receiver can shoot that electricity, however the hell they do this, to any location within that satellite's view.
I believe they can do that, but I'm curious how much loss, right? If you're sending that much energy, are you cutting it by half?
Where's the loss?
90%?
Nothing's free. If you with the Newton's laws and all that and thermodynamics.
Just converting energy into something else, there's always loss.
Yep, and that's a big thing too. While around loss of energy, like with people that want to put giant solar panel arrays in space and then beam that back down to Earth. That's not going to work. And Elon Musk got behind this and he got pissed. He's like, there's so many losses in the transference of sun to solar to micro to zapping it down to the planet to converting again. It's like 5 to 10% efficient. By the time it's said and done, you're wasting all this energy converting it back and around. So Elon Musk is not a big fan of solar and space harvested and shot down back to Earth. So just so you know. But this technology, if it actually works, you combine that with fusion, it's stupid, dumb, like what you can actually do with those two technologies that we don't have put together. Like you can have unlimited energy from point A zapped to anywhere in the world through technology B. And it's game changing. It changes everything. Yep. It goes back to what I was talking about previous with part of the plan to affect climate change. With obviously you need a renewable or cheap power source like fusion, would be to forest the Sahara Desert and to forest the Australian outback. You plant trees there, you desalinate water, you get all those the biggest deserts in the world to grow trees, suck all that carbon, because trees are carbon basically, that's where carbon goes, suck all that carbon out of the air, and we can actually be carbon negative. Like it's feasible. Within 20 to 30 years, you could have that much of a change in our climate, because when you have free electricity, essentially, that's really changes everything. So again, we fall back to this technology, but not fusion. So
I think a lot of the ocean takes the carbon too, like the plankton.
Oh yeah, the algae and all the stuff in there.
Yeah, yep, they take a lot of the carbon.
I
think what the problem now is they're finding heat waves in the ocean.
Yeah.
So that's the scary thing. According to oceanographers.
Heat waves?
Heat waves in the ocean.
What does that mean?
So that means like parts of the ocean are getting a lot warmer than they should be.
Yeah,
closer to the mic, Nguyen.
So that means like the Arctic ice is actually melting faster than it should be. So like they found another problem that's going on right now, and it was like, oh, wow.
On top of that.
Right.
That's great.
People are...
That's all fun tidbit.
We need more Elon Musk.
We Greg and I talked about that last time. I was like, hey, Elon's just one, really rich, motivated human being that's literally changing the scope of humanity. If we had just more people like him, just like spend their money on these things, game changing, instead of just hoarding all the. How much money do you need? Like really, like what?
Right. I just saw a weird. They're like, with $300,000 per year, you can live anywhere, practically anywhere on the planet, be happy, travel, do what you want. And I think the punchline was, I don't trust anybody who would want more.
Yeah, why do you need more? Like, how many helicopters can you fly in? Yeah. How many yachts can you hang out on? Like
a lot. I'd probably spend it all too. I wish I was a billionaire.
I'd spend it all too. Don't get me wrong, but I'd spend it on things that benefited humanity.
So spend that all on child support payments.
I'd be selfish.
I ain't having no babies, so there ain't no child support payments coming out of me ever.
I want a $25 billion yacht.
Oh my god,
billion.
Just think about it though. I mean, okay, so how much money does it cost to really like do a big thing? We talked about like a thorium reactor is a new type of, well, not new, but it'd be commercial new. It'd be a couple $1 billion to build one and get going. There's rich people out there that could just say, hey, you know what? I got a couple billion. Let's build a whole new concept of power generation that we know how to do. Let's just do that because they could. They literally could do that. And they don't. They stash all this money. Like, how much money do you need, Jeff Bezos? I mean, you got $150 billion?
There was an issue with the thorium reactors, though. It's not as clear-cut, like, perfect alternative as it's
nothing's perfect. I'm not going to say anything's pretty.
Like, I started doing, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I started doing some research, and there's, like, immediately big flags with why that doesn't work.
Well, shoot me one.
No, that's all I got.
Oh, you know.
So I will do some more research for next time. But
they've had a functioning, running thorium reactor since 1960s. Mm-hmm. They've got one.
No, I believe it works, but there was some reason why it doesn't make sense to pursue that.
Okay,
but I will bring that next time.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I've watched lots of different videos on that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Interesting.
I never even heard of it. I have to check it out.
Thorium?
Yeah, thorium. It's thorium is one of the most abundant materials in the crust of the Earth. And the cool part, I guess the really cool part about thorium reactor is that it's, I don't want to say fail safe. Everything has a way to break, but it's not run like a traditional. And I'm by no means a nuclear physicist or reactor specialist or anything like that. But the way that they're designed, that if they overheat, they basically shut themselves down, essentially, instead of melting down like Fukushima kind of deal. Which honestly, I don't even know what's going on with that. We don't see about that in the media. I don't know. Is it still hot? You know, is it completely polluting the entire Pacific Ocean?
They're about to dump the wastewater from the plant into the ocean.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
That thing's been spewing radiation for years now.
I think
2011.
Godzilla should be coming out soon.
Quite a while. That's insane. I mean, think about that. We don't hear about that in the media. No, it's about.
Well, that's when you have to worry, is when you don't hear about it.
Yeah. Well, I've watched videos behind the scenes, and Japan is doing everything they can do to fix this, because they are. But you don't hear about it. You instead of hear about random bullshit about what celebrities doing what or who tweeted this. I was like,
yeah. And you wouldn't believe all the chaos in parking lots now that Tesla has summoned.
I saw that.
Like that's the news.
What's a thing?
It's so dumb.
Meanwhile,
I'm at work and it's pouring rain, and I say to the programmers and the other people, I'm like, "You guys want to see something cool?" They're like, "Yes." We all third floor at an office building, looking out the windows. My car's at the other side of a parking lot. I hit the button, flash blinks the lights, it backs up, it starts driving around, and people are like, "What the hell?" It just drives around, and then I get it to go all the way up to the door. I'm like, "I gotta go to the post office, I'll be back." And I went down and left.
Does it do the stoplight stuff now?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No. So I got version 10, which is the huge update. Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, all in the car, all that stuff. The autopilot is huge. No one's talking about this as much, but
why is it not on Facebook? Why am I not seeing this shit?
I've taken you guys for a ride in the car.
Yeah.
When I put on autopilot, it's good, but it kind of abruptly slows down to stops, like behind people.
Yeah.
Like way too late. Like you're like, oh shit. And then it slams, it kind of hits the brakes too hard. And then when you go, it's like you're a pansy and the guy's going in front of you and he starts taking off. And you're like worse than Grandma Sunday mode starting to go.
Oh, so it's too conservative one way.
Now it's identical to how I would drive.
Nice.
Like it takes off quickly. It slows like gentle. Awesome. And as you're slowing down, then you kind of do the creep up to where you're the perfect distance and then it stops. Like it's exactly like a person driving.
I knew when I was in your car and you would like make it switch lanes, I was like, that's exactly how I would do it. Or like when you went in to get an offer, I was like, that's exactly how I would do it. That's amazing.
But can it go pick up people and make you money yet? That's
not yet.
That's what I'm.
But I'll get you guys on the friends and family of.
Oh my god.
The personal like it can run you guys around places. It doesn't have to be public.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, like I don't want it to make money. I'll just be like, well, friends and family can use my car if they need to, and then be like,
I'm going to give you money if your car is like picking me up.
So check this out. You can actually drag around on the screen now and see what the car sees.
Huh.
Wait. You gotta hit play.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. So like that.
Wow.
So
That's
like on
smooth.
the screen in the middle of the car, you can just drag a finger around and see the cars in front, behind, how far back. And then I found out the other day off Reddit, I don't know why they didn't put this in the manual or release notes, 3-finger drag. I can move it around. So I can go way off to the side and then look down, or I can go in the other lane and look and just see all these cars.
Let me ask you this. Are you nervous at all, like not inputting stuff? Do you find yourself for like completely spacing out and forgetting that you need to still like...
No, I always pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention?
Because a lot of times it's, 2-lane road, and it's like I have my hand on the wheel because what if for whatever reason it freaks out or it got hacked or something? It's going to try to kill me.
Trust it, right?
Yeah.
See, I like driving. I like doing the thing, though. I
love driving too, and you know what I do? I drive all the time, and then when there's people in front of me and I can't get around or I can't whatever, I go autopilot and I listen to my music, and it's no stress. So because it's slow down, stop, I'm always perfect distance from them, and I don't have to worry about anything.
That is tedious as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate when people like are in front and you can't go anywhere.
Two guys,
and they're going 5 under. Yeah. That's autopilot. I don't care anymore. I'm listening to music.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd still be nervous.
You get used to it after like an hour of driving.
Me. I would be on social media sleeping. Falling asleep in the car.
People ask me about that. Do you see the people sleep in the car? I'm like, yeah, I do it all the time.
That's what I would do.
And then like I've done it on the highway. People driving by, I just put my head back, like I'm sleeping. Because I really want to get on the news. That'd be awesome.
Not in a bad way, but like, God. Seriously.
You know how easy that would be? It's probably what most of these are. I get fiance friend driving the lane next to me, and I just act like I'm sleeping, and she records me like, "Look at this asshole," and then it's on there, and
then Elon's calling you like, "Look, Greg, I'm trying to sell these cars. Seriously, bro, enough of that bullshit."
Yeah, I'm like, "All right, Muskie."
Can you imagine you got a call from Elon Musk?
Yeah. Hey, Greg, you want to go to Mars?
Yes.
I already signed up for Mars 1. Sorry.
Would you go to Mars? Like, would you do that? Like, would you take that? Would you be the part of the first group of people that said, "Hey, I'm go to Mars"?
Depends on the circumstance.
It's
right now, no, because I'm about to get my marriage on and some kids on.
Yeah.
All that. So I can't really be like later.
Are you coming out? Are you announcing to the world?
What?
That you're getting married, or was this announced?
The last episode
was. Yes, I was
like,
it's a known thing.
Fiance friend.
Yep, it's a known thing. Yeah. You know, there's a Japanese billionaire that's actually going to be one of the first private citizens to go to the moon. You hear about that?
I think I heard about that.
With what company?
I'm not quite sure which company. It might be with Elon. I'm not quite sure. It might be with Bezos. I'm not quite sure. But he's going to take a bunch of artists with him. Like he's paying like for himself and a bunch of these artists. I think it is with SpaceX with the Dragon capsule.
That's badass.
He's literally going to pay to take artists.
You know how great SpaceX is with their launches? It's like a legit production. Like NASA didn't care. They're like, see the launch?
Money. Yeah, good, whatever. It's $1 billion a pop.
Yeah.
Literally $1 billion.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
But SpaceX, you have all the cameras. It's HD. You have all the data. It doesn't matter if it blows up. They're just like, that's cool. This is a good explosion. Whatever. Like their earlier ones.
They haven't had an explosion for a while.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But what I'm saying is they're all out there with showing you everything.
Yeah.
I can't wait till right now I can go on my computer and say, dude, look at this HD stream of this rover on the moon. Because they have one there, and it's solar, and it's driving around, and you're watching it with a 3-second delay.
Yep.
And you can just see, like, HD on the moon.
That's awesome.
Because all we have right now are space HD, like the space station, which is awesome.
Yep.
But to be on the moon, like seeing that,
literally
seeing a real, like, because you've seen the Mars rover and other like pictures that are put together after so much time, all stitched together.
Yeah.
But like real time HD footage.
Moon cam.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
They could monetize it.
I want it in 4K.
I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. Like.
There's gonna be cities, and we're gonna be like, "Hey, you want to go to the moon this weekend?"
That'd be awesome.
Sure.
That's a thing. I mean, within the next 20 or 30 years, hopefully that's a thing. Like honestly, like with the launch cost being so low to be able to do that, and just technology and catching up in industry, getting behind it. Bezos actually he's a proponent of having all heavy industry transition to the moon, and we're not building heavy industry anything on the planet anymore. It's all built on the moon.
I like that idea.
It's
keep the pollution out.
Keep the pollution. Now they're talking about building H3 reactors on the moon, not fusion necessarily, but just normal reactors kind of deal on the moon, and building all the shit up there. If they got the water, they got the regolith, build the stuff, and then they shoot it down to the planet, and there it is. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's legit. And that's really, if you're going to build the structures in space, I think we need to practice on the moon before we're like, oh, we got this Mars thing sorted out. No, I really think we need to practice in our backyard first.
And get something built pretty big on the moon too, right?
Build it big, test out all the fucking concepts, all the things.
Because you get enough there, then it's like this critical mass. It keeps going. It cycles itself.
Starts. We're off planet. We're off planet. I saw when I was doing the moon research, a lot of people think that the moon is exactly 4 times as small as the Earth. Like it fits 4 of them, like as far as diameter goes, which is a fun fact. Also, this is really weird too. Like the solar eclipses, the moon is exactly 400 times the distance from the sun as it is the ratio of its width. So that's why we have solar eclipse. The moon is the perfect size to be the perfect distance away from the sun to have a solar eclipse.
Is it always?
It's changing. Within the next 20 or 30 million plus years, it's going to continue to get smaller. So the moon will not eclipse the sun anymore.
Because we're in an elliptical orbit too, right?
Right,
so isn't that
it
different?
Can't be constantly.
Well, the moon is 400 times farther away from the sun, and it's 400 times smaller in diameter than the sun. So they equal.
No, but I'm saying because the Earth and the moon orbit the sun in elliptical, not constant.
Yes.
A perfect circle.
So the distance between the moon and the sun is different.
It changes. It does over time. And plus, the moon is moving away from the Earth at 1.5 inches per year.
No. I'm talking about yearly. It's not always 400 times away from the sun per year.
But I think that's that's like a confirmation bias of like, it's this. Someone like put that together because at this time it's that.
Yeah.
Right.
But then the rest of the year it's different.
It was just like a fun fact.
But it is really cool.
It is. It's like, why is it the perfect size to block out? Like, what are the chances of that? Like, that's just really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, it's really weird.
It is.
They were trying to figure out how weird it was, but then they didn't know how many other planets have satellites in their systems that orbit the thing, so they can't really figure that out, kind of deal. So that's a thing.
The universe is so crazy when you look at the quantum mechanics side of things, like
all the stuff.
The possibilities of things happening at any given time are amazing, and like the multiple worlds theory in quantum mechanics is what's been interesting to me because I saw it on Joe Rogan and I was like, wow, like this guy who's into quantum mechanics and knows this stuff, he's just like, so as time goes, like, you know, your decision like could break off into another world and you're just living what you know now. And I was like,
we've talked about this a lot. You should check out a YouTube page. It's called SFIA, Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur, and he's got like maybe 300 videos on there.
Yeah, his stuff's pretty awesome.
I'll check it out.
And check out the Fermi Paradox. You know what the Fermi Paradox is?
No.
Check that out.
Okay.
The Fermi Paradox, in a nutshell, basically says that the universe is so big
that there has to be life.
But why haven't we seen it? Why are we not talking to aliens? So there's 100 different reasons. Check that shit out. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I do have to get splitting. I got to go meet up the Marcus friend for some Thursday night football. So I do got to kind of dip. But yeah, good talking. So next time my topic will be so I talked with Greg about this earlier. The topic I'm going to bring to the table is not only surviving the apocalypse and whatever version that may take, zombies, solar flares, super volcanoes, pick something.
That's a great topic.
Whatever it is, pick whatever it is. Not just surviving the apocalypse, but continuing to maintaining your quality of life as such as it is now. What do you have to do in your life today to maintain your quality of life after the lights go off? So that's what I've been kind of researching.
Back up the internet.
And that's kind of what I've been working on. So that's my topic for next time.
All right. Cool. I want to download my brain into a computer.
See, we talked about that too.
Yes.
We did.
Oh, you did?
We did. Okay, Nguyen, it's been great. Punch it out.
Yeah, bro.
Gregster.
Party Mike.
We gone.
Doing some housekeeping real quick. Shout out to Greg's Eggs. Support your local people with chickens in places they're allowed to have chickens legally. If you're buying a Tesla, make sure to... I just text my mom my Tesla code.
Hi, Mom.
Just use GREGG 48406, GREGG 48406 when you're buying your next Tesla. Get 2,000 free supercharger miles. See you, Mike.
No. See you, Mike.
When you want to keep talking, are we done? We done.
So I might have to go.
Yep. Dude, let's talk impromptu camera talk.
Camera talk.
Yeah, because you've been in this.
Yes.
Are you starting up an official company? Is this a thing?
Yes, it's gonna be wedding photography.
That's awesome.
Wedding occasion event photography. How about that?
Event, nice. Well, we got good people we can put you in contact with to get gigs.
It's amazing about how much support I got and have, and everybody's been excellent. So
nice.
It's been really good, and just I've been trying to perfect the craft for years, but started with actually Arcade Impossible.
Yeah, doing the cameraman thing, and then messing around with cameras, and then we got the DSLR for the show, and that was more and more. Didn't you have a GH2 at the time?
I had a GH2 at the time.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how it all started.
It's a great camera.
And then you got a GH3,
mm-hmm.
and then
I
couldn't top that, so...
A few years later, the GH5.
You have a GH5? I thought it was a GH4.
No, I got the 5. That's why we're shooting in 4K for a while.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
There's a 5S or next version kind of thing. I think it's a micro step update, but the 5, man, it's great. We took that to Seattle, fiance friend and I, and pictures. You saw my jumping pictures.
I saw some of your pictures. I got to see more. You got to show me more what you did.
I will. Yeah, I shot that shit raw.
Gotta shoot that shit raw.
You gotta get some shirts made. Whatever your company name is, and you're like, we shoot it raw.
Oh, no, there's already a guy who does that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he stole it.
I was gonna say, man, I thought we just came up with something so original. No, not at all.
Yeah, so how'd that go? How was Seattle? Was it awesome?
It was great.
Yeah?
The food's great. We were talking today about like what's the thing you would tell people about, and it was the ferry we took. So you take the ferry out from downtown Seattle. You see the whole skyline. You see their stadiums and stuff. And it was like just after the sunset or as the sun was setting kind of thing. And the ferry's huge, like hundreds of cars on this ferry, multiple levels, 3 levels up. It's basically like a half the size of a cruise ship kind of thing.
Nice.
It's huge. Had restaurants on it and stuff. But it's just beautiful. It's like a 35-minute ferry ride out to Bainbridge Island, and then we had like nice dinner out there and everything. It was great.
So could you see like Mount Rainier and Mount Olympus, or like?
We could see Rainier.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
And we went out hiking the one day, and that's where we got their jumping pictures and stuff. But rented a Fiat 500. I was looking to rent a Tesla Model X, but they're way too expensive.
Yeah. Way. Fiat though? It was cool.
Fiat was great.
Cool little car.
It was $30 a day, I think, off Turo.
Right. It's you and the fiance.
We didn't care. It was great. It was a tiny car driving around the city. It was perfect.
That's awesome.
One thing I didn't expect is how many homeless people are in Seattle.
Oh, I'm sure.
So many homeless people.
It's so ridiculous to live out there. It's like expenses. Wow. It's
Yeah.
like San Fran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really nice out there. We were looking at housing prices. And it's like, we can move out here and not be doing well at all.
Right.
Like, just, that's...
Well, then you look at Tacoma,
Mm-hmm.
just outside of Seattle, I guess.
Right. But yeah, that's the thing, too. Like, I like our area because of cost of living and families here.
Yeah.
I think if no family was here and, like, maybe not as many friends, I'd be like, oh, let me check out some other areas. But I've lived in Orlando, and I was like, can't wait to come home. It was fun there, but I was like, I'm good. I want to come home.
Yeah. Only thing about winter is like you have to see your friends here, or else you'll go crazy.
Yeah,
it gets ridiculously cold.
I remember I legitimately went crazy when I worked from home, and I had my own apartment by myself. Yeah. And this was pre-Frodo, so no animal either. No other living thing, and me in my apartment working from home. Didn't leave for a week. I went crazy.
What'd you do?
I probably did some illegal shit. I don't even remember anymore. I kind of blacked out. But I remember when I saw my friends after that, I was like, I just feel weird.
You do. Because I get stuck at home in the winter. I'm like, I got to go see Greg or something.
I got to do something.
I got to go see Greg.
I feel so crazy. Dude, Oh, it's dark already. I was gonna say we gotta take. It's 7 o'clock and it's dark. That
Yeah,
sucks.
dude, you should take my camera and you could be like, well, it doesn't matter if it's dark. It still shoots beautifully.
Sweet. We should go shoot some night pictures of Tesla at the charging station, and then I can show you the smart summon.
Yes,
That would be a good idea.
Let's do it.
So we're done podcasting. See you guys later.
See you guys later.
Bye.